I'm going to try to get comfy today.
You do it.
We're live from Edinburgh.
Show number 15. I survived.
We survived. We all survived.
We all survived.
No,
Wow.
It was a good day.
I ended up having 17. Well, I don't know. No, yeah, they did count the space people.
No.
17 people, which is fantastic. But they were, you just hit me.
Sorry.
Jeez, abuse. No one saw it. It was the hidden hand behind me.
Oh, this is so much better.
Okay, fine.
Now I know why you can.
I'm talking about distractions, and here we go.
Hi.
Oh my god. I think we're delirious. What are you doing behind me?
Distracted you.
Oh my god. Oh, is that your cousin?
Yeah.
Hi, Catherine. We ended up having 17 people, and they were very quiet. They were one of the quietest
crowds that
I ever had.
Our first week.
Yeah. But what was really interesting is a friend of a friend who lives in Glasgow, which is like an hour and a half bus ride kind of from here, train ride. Oh, thanks, Catherine. That's so nice of you to say that. It is a big thing to be out here, and it's a beast. But he said he came to the show, which is like a lovely friend. And he said on the way out, so the audience goes out up the stairs, and then I don't go out until after. So I don't ever hear like the conversations that happen, and nobody stayed after the show to talk to me today. Like usually people stay after and we share stories, or they just want to tell me how much they enjoyed it. Nobody stayed after. So I was like, I was like, quiet crowd, didn't give me anything. Nobody stayed after. And then he said, oh, no. He said, when people were coming up the stairs, he said, everybody was saying that was phenomenal. That was phenomenal. I really enjoyed that.
Really good.
It was really good.
I loved it.
And I was like, we don't ever, unless somebody tells me that, we don't know, how it goes from their side. And of course your mind always goes to the negative, and it always goes, oh my God, they didn't really clap. They didn't really laugh too much. Maybe they hated it. And then he was sharing, he was like, sometimes the quiet audiences, hi, Greg Freiberg, the OG Greg, the original Greg. He was like, sometimes the quieter audiences are actually the best audiences because they, he was like, sometimes the ones that laugh at everything, like they just want to laugh and they don't want to like think. And that's okay too. But he's like, sometimes the quieter audiences are really like in it with you. So don't judge that, people said it was phenomenal and they loved it. Crazy distractions. So first, one of the space people, a fellow artist, decided she wanted to come into my show late. Hi, Trina. Oh my God, we have a fun group here today. She decided she wanted to come in the show late. She just like whips the door open and like strolls on into the theater.
Oh, she owns the place.
Like,
oh yeah,
she's going in the boardroom to make a $3 million deal. Like throws the door open, light comes in, like boom, boom, boom. I'm like,
throws her stuff down.
I'm like, okay, so much for like being, modest. Then in the middle of my show, my tech person just leaves. She just gets up and she just walks out. And another person luckily walked in and sat down.
And it kind of looked like he was going to take over.
So when you're having a side conversation in your head as you're delivering lines and doing your show, like you're sunk. I was like, this is impossible. I'm like doing my lines and I'm like, where did my tech person go? Did she have to go pee? Is something wrong? Is somebody coming back? Oh my God, there's another person here. Do they know where we are in the script? This guy's never teched my show before. Does he even know what's going on? Luckily, what happened was the previous tech person, she missed like 2 cues. I just rolled with it. We were fine, didn't make a big deal because the audience doesn't know. I know, but the audience doesn't really know. And then luckily the guy that did covered me. Like he followed the script. Like, he didn't make any mistakes. He knew exactly where I was. He was a little bit late on like one of the cues, but the baby cue, but again, it wasn't a big deal.
But that's like 3 cues in one. So
so then after the show, my original tech person comes back and she's like, oh, hi, I'm so sorry. she's like, you know, I missed one of your cues, and then I like started panicking, and then I was sitting there and I was just like zoning out, and then I was like thinking about, I'm like going through something right now, and I'm just like thinking about this thing that I'm going through, and she's like, I just texted and I was like, I got to get out of here, I need help. And I just looked at her and I said, okay. I said, well, I said, I'm glad you're okay. I said, my show is
I don't think so.
No.
She looks pretty.
She shared with me once before that she has like ADHD and she gets like overwhelmed easy. But I said to her, I said, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm better now. I'm okay now. And she's like, I'm so sorry. I missed a cue. And, you know, and I'm like, you know what? It's not a big deal. And I said, you know what? I said, my show's theme is that it's okay not to be okay, and go get help when you need it. I said, and that's exactly what you did. I said, so I'm not upset. I said, we finished it. It went fine. Like, I'm glad you're okay. I mean, what was I going to say?
Yeah.
What the hell? Why'd you leave? You made me panic. You know, I was like, that's not going to help the situation. So I just said, you know, my show is about getting help when you need it. I said, and that's exactly what you did. So I said, I'm glad that, you know, that you were able to get help. But I've never had a tech walk out in the middle of a show. Like, I was like, and the same thing, like the theater goes out into the hallway. So anytime like that first artist that came in, like throws the door open, all the light floods in. And then when the tech person left, she like threw the door open, all the light, like it's not like a big theater where somebody can exit out. And if they do it quietly, like you wouldn't, well, Greg, you were there, you saw the show, like you wouldn't notice. When people come in and out of that door, you notice when someone comes in and out of the door. So I was like, holy moly. Then there was some truck.
Yeah, it was like a delivery truck or something.
Backing up.
Like the beep, beep.
And it was
beep,
literally
beep,
right
beep,
outside. So in the middle of like.
At first I was like, is that a fire alarm?
That's what I thought it was too. Like a really emotional moment.
Because it wouldn't stop.
It was like.
And it was like just distant enough. You're like, that's not here. But it could be upstairs.
So obvious. So I'm like, forget that. Just keep rolling. True. Very true, Trina. Because if I was a diva or I have every right to be like, what the fuck is happening right now? Right? Like, you can't, what are you kidding me? But I'm a nice human. So I didn't do that.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm like, nothing can harm me now. Nothing can touch it. Like, I'm untouchable now. I'm like, you want to throw a giraffe in the middle of the theater? Like, some kid wants to vomit on the stage. I think I'd be able to work around it. I think I'd be able to figure it out.
I don't think a giraffe would fit in there.
That's right. Yeah. The ceiling's too low. But there's this like crazy beeping. And then I don't know who that choir was. Yeah. Greg, oh no, another fire alarm. Greg said that because we were all at a show together and there was a fire alarm that went off and we had to go out and
evacuate for 15
20 minutes. And those girls just picked right back up. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you got to just kind of, you have to roll with it because what else, can you do? That's right. That's the next show. Giraffes and Vomit. That's the next show.
It's a good one.
And then, I don't know, I guess they let some choir out and somebody was like singing. Did you hear that? I don't know if you heard that. Somebody was like, like right outside. I'm like, oh, that's great. I'm like, keep doing that, lady. That's perfect. And then people were like laughing hysterically. So I was like, that's great. This is just, so, I mean, it's such a like mood killer when you're trying to deliver an emotional scene and it's just, when you're trying to watch, I joke because Oliver's there with his headphones on, but when you're like trying to watch a good movie that's like emotional and deep, and then somebody's like talking through the movie, and you're like, just be quiet. Like, I'm trying to pay attention. I'm missing what they're saying. That's what it's like in my theater every single day. Like, it's like I'm trying to deliver a really heartfelt performance and there's just constant outer noise and sound and people and lights and doors. The other day, I don't remember if I even told them. The other day, one of the tech people for the upstairs theater needed a chair. And she just came on in the middle of my performance and grabbed a chair. But was like,
peace.
And then afterwards, same thing. She goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She goes, I didn't even know what I was thinking.
I didn't even notice it.
But I already came in and I knew I needed the chair, so I just grabbed it and I left. And I'm like, no, it was good. I'm like, you didn't even throw me. I'm like, I was in the middle of a song and I'm like, I just kept singing. Like, so just the level of professionalism here is horrific. But as you said, Trina, I am being tested, road tested for any surprise. Great practice being on set. Yes. Wow. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the big. Something's coming. I'm telling you, there's gonna be giraffes. There's gonna be vomit.
I think it'd be something.
There's gonna be sparklers.
Yeah. No, I think it'll be
fireworks.
Somebody will say something. Be something like that.
I don't know.
I thought that was coming today at one point. I was like, oh my God, are they gonna say something?
Who? Who's gonna say something?
The gentleman, the handicapped gentleman.
Oh, like what do you
mean? Because he kind of was like verbal.
Yes.
A couple times today. I was like, oh man, is he going to say something?
I don't know.
Because he's kind of getting comfortable.
Yeah, I have this gentleman that comes to like every show.
He's been to like 4 or 5.
He's come back like 5 times.
Yeah.
A, he really likes the show. But B, it was kind of sad. He shared with me that, actually he shared with you.
Yeah, he's in a wheelchair and he was just saying that a lot of the other venues aren't very handicap friendly. And he was saying like he went to see 2 other shows and the one, he said they didn't really have a handicap space for him. So he's like, they ended up putting him like off to the side and it was like a really poorly obstructed view. Like he said, there was like a pillar right here. And he just said it was. Yeah.
So he just said, A, he loves my show. B, he loves the music. And C, we're really good to him. We let him in early and we give him a front row right on the end, like seat. So he has a great view.
Yeah.
So he just like keeps coming back to the show.
And there's a elevator that takes right down to your show. So he just said this space is great for it.
I was summoned by Trina in her post. And I'm here to say, what Trina said. Not sure what her response is regarding, but I'm pretty sure
kick some asses.
She and I would kick some asses. It's crazy though, Trina and Ozzo. It's not in the theater. It's not people in the theater talking.
No, it's the company.
It's the companies that are coming out of their shows like upstairs, and then they exit onto the street, and there's like a vent that goes right into the theater. So they stand outside and have a little party in the street, and it comes right in. It sounds like they are like in the theater. So thanks, Greg, with 1 G. To be specific.
Yeah, not Greg Sandwiches.
No, not Greg Sandwiches with 2 out here.
It's the original Greg.
So today it's super annoying. So I think the biggest lesson, like the noise I could deal with, the biggest thing for me today was the tech person leaving. That was like, Eric said, you said it didn't look like it threw me at all.
What?
When the tech person left.
I didn't even notice like that you were bothered by it.
It
like
did.
I know you looked over at one point, like quick, but you just rolled with it. Well, that's what I said to you, where like I have it. Like I sit right beside the tech person.
But there was like a split second. There was like a split second where there wasn't somebody there, was there? Or did she leave and he came right down?
He came in first.
Oh, okay.
He came in the right side door.
Okay.
And then she came out and then she walked out.
Yeah.
Actually, no, he came in the same door. He came in and she walked out. Yeah. So it didn't even look like 2 people came in and out.
Yeah. Yeah, he was fine. And he had never checked my show before and just jumped on in for the last half. So there you have it. So yeah, that's a first. That's a first.
So Trina was saying we did have people talking.
Oh, I did. On. Yeah. The very first show, there was this really freaking rude 2 young girls, and they were like full on having like the way we're talking right now is how they were talking like in the theater.
But they were the ones that said,
No.
They had to leave early.
No.
No, it wasn't those
No,
ones?
no. The very first opening night.
I thought they
They
had
were
to
the
leave.
girls in
Yeah,
the
the
front.
opening night. We were like half an hour late.
We were, but they were like, I don't know. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but they were like full on, not even trying to be quiet, like about the conversation.
Yeah, I
That
think
was, like,
I think
super
they were
rude.
deciding whether they should cut out to go to the other show.
I've had some really rude. I had like one audience member. She was like, same thing. What the venue was running late again, but she
Yeah.
was like literally checking her phone like every like 5 minutes, and she was in the front row, and she was literally like pulling up her phone, and she was literally like this, like she wasn't even trying to like, pull it off to the side.
Well, and
she was
she-
like full on.
And I remember she
flicking it
asked
up and
us.
looking at it.
Yeah, she did ask us.
No, that was a different person.
Oh, that wasn't the same lady?
Oh yeah,
that asked
that was
us?
somebody different. Anyway, so it's a bit interesting here. One thing I learned for anybody thinking of coming to Edinburgh, this is just my personal opinion, so take it for yeah, my tech person left. She just got up and left. And then somebody came in, and then she apologized to me after and said she missed a couple cues and she got overwhelmed. And then she's going through something personal right now, and she was spacing out, thinking about what she's going through personally in her life. So she texted a buddy and said, "Come help me." That's a first.
Yeah.
So I was sharing just quickly that I said, "Wow, my show is about getting help when you need it." So that sounds like exactly what you did. So yes, Catherine. Catherine, so are you doing your show here in Ontario? Yeah, I booked January 20th. I haven't even really announced this yet because they haven't been the best to deal with. But
Yeah, they're little-
Burlington Performing Arts Center. I'm trying to do a show plus a workshop is basically what I'm trying to do. I was supposed to do it in October, but they got back to me really late. Like they couldn't get their stuff sorted on their
yeah, it
end.
was like right before we left
And
here.
it was like right before I left to come here. And then I just said to them, I can't, I wanted to have this set in stone. So I can't do it in October. Let's push to the new year. So January 20th, I'm going to be in not the big theater, but there's like a little it's 125 seats. I think they said.
Yeah, it's a great space.
So it's a great little space. So my plan is to do it then and to do a 3-hour kind of the show's 70 minutes and then have a little break and then do a 90-minute workshop afterwards. And you don't have to stay for the workshop, but if you want to, you can. And that's going to be
more details.
my plan. More details to come on that. So that's actually where I'm going next. I don't have any desire to do any more fringes anytime soon. I'm gonna actually, that's not true. I would do Hamilton, Ontario fringe again. That was lovely. But anybody thinking of coming to Edinburgh, when I was talking to people, they were like, "Oh, you got to do the full, you got to do the full run. You got to do the full run. You got to get you have to do the full 4 weeks because, the first week is industry. And then the second week is reviews. And then the third week, you're in it now, third and fourth week. You don't really get the full experience if you don't do a full." I don't think that's true. I don't. I think
2 weeks.
I think 2 weeks is a sweet spot here.
One week to hopefully get reviewers if you're going for that thing, and then the second week to kind of put butts in seats.
I love performing, but it's a slog out here. I'm kind of glad that the end is.
Lord.
Hey, Dave Lure, that the end is. I have so many lessons to share. Dave with the best. Oh my God. I'm learning so much out here. But I don't think you need a full. If anybody tells you got to come for the full run, I don't know if that's true. I don't think you do. And then it was interesting because Chris Dolan, who we went to lunch with after the show, Jean-Louis' friend that came out, he's done fringe the last 10 years. And this is the first year he is. He's a writer. A great, very prolific.
Yeah, he used to live here. He used to live in
Seasoned,
Edinburgh.
Award-winning playwright. And he tell him quickly the story that he shared about a landscape out here.
So he said, "I'll give you perspective of what Edinburgh Fringe used to be like." And he said, here's a quick glimpse. So he's 10 years ago, we put on a show, phenomenal. It was received phenomenally, won a ton of awards, a ton of 5-star.
Had a famous actor in it.
Famous actor. And he's we had a big venue and we sold out 300 seats every night, full run.
It's a lot of people.
So then he said, we came back, same show, same famous actor who's
Same
even
cast.
more famous now because it was 5 years later, same venue. And he said, we were lucky to sell 125 seats per show. and that was pushing, doing flyering, all the bells
All
and
the
whistles that you
things.
do.
Yeah.
And he said last year, same exact show, uber famous actor now here, same actor, same guy, but now 10 years seasoned veteran, just known everywhere from people in Scotland and around. And he said they were averaging like 20, 30 seats max. So he's like, that's what's happened in the last 10 years. His take on it was it's become very comedy heavy,
It has.
and he doesn't understand why. He said he thinks that it's anyway political stuff, but more or less he said it's become that over the last 10 years, and it used to be a very more serious arts type festival, and now it's in his own words, it's now become more very heavy in comedy. And he said it's almost like I referred it as, I was like, it's kind of like a Just for Laughs, which is in Montreal.
That, or it's like shock and awe.
Yeah, it's a lot of like
there was a woman.
Well,
no, even like there was a woman that got 5 stars. She does her show naked, and she cuts up a steak in her private part, and it's supposed to be like her labia. Sorry if there's children around, but this is the truth. So like that got 5 stars, and then like people doing things like full, like the one we saw, they're like, it's opera and full frontal nudity, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but no, I don't think they do that good.
I don't know, but it's like I'm just seeing a lot of like people saying they're pushing the creative elements, but it's just like gimmicky and like nakedness. They're like pushing it with being naked, and like it's
or like that one show that's like what's the famous Chinese show?
I don't know.
Where they like fall off of like balloons and balls and stuff into like mud or jello and
like the floor is lava kind of thing.
No, I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, like there was one, I think I was sharing that earlier, where they said there's like a Batsu is the name of it, and it's like these comedians like battle, and then if they vote you as the worst comedian, then they torture the person who's the worst comedian. They get like electrocuted and they get shot with paint guns, and
crazy.
I'm like, I don't want to believe that we're a society that just wants wipe out. That's it. Like, so like nakedness and shock and awe and comedy, draw all the people. And then when you're like mine, which is like someone described it as really good as like a social and emotional change piece, a serious piece of, it's funny too, but it's like, a personal story, like a personal play. It's hard out here in Edinburgh. Like I would say, I didn't want to believe that when someone said like, it's comedy. They just care about comedy.
It's a comedy festival.
And it is. It's really turned into a comedy festival. And that's where I wouldn't come back unless I decided to write a comedy show. And I knew it was a good comedy show because there's so many out here.
Yeah, and that's not to say that it's all perspective. Like we're saying that based off of the shows that are like sold out run. And it's like, it's almost 9 to 10 times. It's a comedy show and it's late at night.
Yes.
Those shows are sold out full run. And it's like, wow, like I get it. That's what they want.
Yeah.
Like it's
so it's I think it's just a piece of, you have to find the festival that suits your piece of work.
And he was commenting too that even the type of people that are coming here now, he said, are not the same type of people. Like he was shocked at the amount of people that were drunk, people that were drinking and being a little bit rowdy on the streets. Like he's like, that's not how it used to be.
Yeah.
Like it used to be like more prim and proper, people dressing up, people wearing nice attire, more, have a glass of wine, watch a show kind of people, not let's go have 16 pints and then stumble into the theater and hopefully remember what happened kind of people.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't expect that out here, but that is my experience. Like it's kind of like Dave Lure, who's part of Bo, and Patricia Freiberg, Greg's wife. Like Bo always talks about like, he would say like, I'm not for everybody. Like I don't draw the huge crowds, but I do draw the right people. And that's been my experience out here. Like, cause it's not a comedy show and it's not whatever, it's not selling out. The crowds are small, but they're the right, for the most part, they're the right
Yeah,
people.
from the people we've actually spoken to, they have for the most part have said I was looking for either a musical
Solo show
or a solo show.
musical. I saw Narcissist. You
Yeah.
know, my mom's a narcissist, my dad's a narcissist, my brother's a narcissist.
So the right audience.
Yeah, the right keywords like
Yeah.
are grabbing, you know. Well, we're averaging about 18, 17, 18, 16.
Yeah, I'd
like,
say 15 to 20.
you know, to me that's
is
good.
great.
I never had any. I
It's
was
great.
worried there were going to be some shows
Yeah,
because
like
they said
two.
it could happen where you have 0 and you have to cancel a show. I only had to cancel when I got sick. Like I've never had to cancel a show.
Yeah, and your numbers that night were great.
Don't
Sucked.
mind me.
Anyway,
Moving on.
what's the gifts? Or did you already talk about the
No,
gifts?
I mean I think the gifts are just the distractions.
Oh.
I never this is the epitome of distraction.
I thought you got a gift from someone and you didn't tell me.
No. Bye, Trina. We're wrapping up anyway. We kind of already talked about everything we wanted to
Yeah.
talk about. So yeah, I think the gifts are taking the distractions, let the truth of the situation win. Like don't try to act like it's not happening. Whatever's happening, happen. I think, you know, be a kind human.
Even what Chris said today. So he came earlier. He came and saw his second show or
This is
third.
the second time he's seen it. Yeah.
But when did he come? Like the second or third show? Something
He
like that.
came
The
the
first week.
second show, the 5th. He came like the second show.
So his feedback, like to me and Lisa, was like, "Wow!" Like he's like, the show today from the first time I saw it, he's like, incredible. Like he's like, and it's not that it changed. He's like, I just saw the little nuances of how you're engaging with the audience all of a
Mhm.
sudden, and you're including us, and just things that Lisa did because she saw it as a performer that it was welcome to do those things. Like other venues, you couldn't get away with that.
Yeah, the biggest thing is like the breaking the fourth wall. Like when
Yeah.
there's a distance between you and the audience, it kind of automatically automatically keeps you in that theater dimension.
Yeah.
Because my theater is so small and I'm literally like
Oh, you're like
a
5 feet.
step away
You're 5
from the
feet from someone.
audience. And because the ceiling's so low and the lights hang right down, I have to gaze a little bit down because if I gaze at the horizon, I look right into the lights.
You're probably
It's horrible.
just barely over their heads.
Yeah, so I break the fourth wall in the entire show. I even broke the fourth wall today with Greg when you're like, do you want to go for a walk and talk on the beach? And I'm like, oh, this guy.
Yeah, you looked at the girl beside
you really
you
want to
there.
go talk.
Yeah, you looked right at her.
Because in the scene, I'm pretending that I'm talking to my friends.
Yeah, look at your friends.
But I break the fourth wall and I look at the audience and I go, yeah, this guy. Yeah, you really want to talk. He wants to talk. And I'm just finding the more I break the fourth wall and the more I bring the audience in here, because it's such an intimate space, they like it. So I'm learning as a performer, that's another gift, minus all the distractions, the improv, breaking the fourth wall. Like I'm learning how to play to the space. So not only do you have to play to the characters and play to the story and play to your content, you also have to play to the size and space and setup of the space that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been like a huge learning lesson for me. You know, I haven't gotten, I was like looking at this one show on Twitter. There was a solo show, first time writer performer came out and he had like 12 reviews. And I'm like, how the frick did you get 12 reviewers to come out and review you? I've had two accredited reviewers. That's it. 2 Yahoos and then 2 accredited reviewers. So 4, I guess, technically. But I'm like, how'd you get 12? Then I'm like, you know what? It's not even about that. Just all the other lessons and all the other learnings are the pieces that I'm taking away from this. And I'm just like, that's it.
That's it.
We got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, home stretch. We got 3 shows left. And I'm just having fun. Like, I'm just, like, now I'm like, of course the tech person left. Okay, bye. Like, I just don't even, I'm just like, yeah, I don't even know what's going on, but we're just going to keep going. You know, like, it's like there isn't even, it's like I expect it now. I know that nothing is going, I know something's going to happen because something happens every single
Tech
show.
might just get up and leave.
I've never had tech person leave. That was the first. So, yeah, so it's like, I think everything that possibly could have gone wrong, like, Oh, hi. Oliver,
Yeah.
you know who's on? O9's mom. Solomon and O9's mom. Washing the dishes. Aw. We miss you too at EMA, which is our martial arts.
Martial arts.
I know.
Studio.
I was saying to Chris, like, I'll just end on this. Chris was saying, like, you know, oh, I promised Jean-Louis I would like look after you and I would like kind of, you know, help you. And he's like, I haven't really been much help. I don't feel like I've like really done anything. And, you know, I'm sorry. And, you know, maybe Jean-Louis thought I might know people to come to the show and I don't really know anybody anymore that comes into Edinburgh and goes to Fringe. And, you know, so, I was like, you know what though? I was like, just having a grounding person out here that's like, you know, like you remind me of Jean-Louis and like just, you know, when you're away from your home, put up her comment. Oliver, miss you and love you loads. From O9 and Suleiman. Oliver, your buddies are saying hi to you. You know, it's that. It's like when you miss your family and you miss your friends and you miss the comforts of home. I do. I miss our home.
Yeah.
I'm really feeling being away. What is it? The 23rd today? We've been away 23 days. We've been away over 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm missing. I was like on Instagram and I saw the Peloton, like Christine Durkle was like my favorite. And I was like, oh, I want to ride my Peloton with her. Like it's just interesting the things that ground you and the practices and the people, you know, that you have and then you don't have them. And it's like hard. Like I don't want to say I'm like homesick, but I am.
But then we pick up new routines here that we're like, man, like we walk.
Oh, I love it.
I'd say
we walked for an hour today.
I bet like an hour on average per day. We
hour
walked over an hour.
Hour and a half because we walked home after eating.
We walked over an hour and a half, and like, there's no reason why we couldn't do this at home. It's our own. It's having a car in the driveway that's like your whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. We'd already walked like a half hour, and then we were like, oh my god, we were like, should we get the bus? And then
we walked like 10 minutes to catch the bus.
Yeah. And then you were like, oh, the bus isn't coming in 15 minutes. And then I was like, how long will it take us to get to like the next point that we want to get to? You're like 15 minutes. I'm like, all right, well, I'm like, Oliver, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm okay to walk. And we're like, okay. So we're walking so much in the fresh air and it's nice. I definitely want to walk.
When it's not raining, which knock on wood, it's been great.
It's been good.
Yeah. We thought we walked into hell the like first 2 days we were here because it just rained. It was just raining off and on.
I got wet through my coat.
Yeah.
That's how much it rained.
Oh yeah, we were all soaked.
I had a rain jacket on and I got soaked through my jacket. That's how much it rained.
Miserable. Rain's the worst.
And we had umbrellas and we were like sharing umbrellas and it was it was horrible. So luckily that's out. So
yeah, it's supposed to be
cool.
Nice.
So I think that's it. Tomorrow I have a smaller crowd coming, but we'll see. 6, I think, so far the tickets sold.
Yeah, that's the weird thing here too. Like every day before the show, Lisa's like, "Oh, I got 8 people, 9 people coming," and it's like 18, 20 people walk in the door. You're like, "All right." Half an hour before the show, people just walk in. Yeah. They must decide. Yeah. And then just say, I'm going to get tickets when we go. Mm-hmm. If it's sold out, we'll go see something else.
Yeah. So it's all good.
But anyway,
so
that's fine.
I might go see a few shows tomorrow. I need to talk to you about what my plans are. But a few people that came to my show, I might go pay it forward and go see theirs and cheer them on. That's the nice thing to do. And yeah, just going to enjoy the last 3 days of performing and have fun.
We got some fun planned after.
Yeah, we got like 4 days.
Lots of day trips.
Yeah, so we can talk about that later. But anywho, thanks for hanging in. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling back to myself. Like I have a little tiny cough that's still lingering a bit, but nothing major. I think the fringe flu is gone, which is good. And yeah, we're just gonna keep rocking. So thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Bye.
Lots of love. Bye.